Hello everyone, Editing Harper here. Yes, this entire first intro couple of minutes is me out of focus. I do apologize. Everything else is perfectly in focus. It's just this one clip. Personally, I don't like it, so I just wanted to get on here and just let you know what's happening and, sympathize with your guys' annoyance if you also are annoyed with this. But everything else looks really great, so don't, click out. Couple more moments of me being blurry and then back to usual. So, hope you like the video. Enjoy! Hello everyone and welcome to Simple Cuisine. My name is Harper, if you did not know, and today I'm going to continue my series where I try to make a dish or meal for the first time in my life, first time, film it all for you guys, have a fun time, making new things and enjoying, new experiences. But today I am going to be making stuffing from scratch for the first time in my life. Because of course, when I'm making this or, when I'm, uploading it, it will be near Thanksgiving. Now, I personally, don't really celebrate Thanksgiving for, its historical, horrifying connotations. I celebrate more just, a time to be thankful for, family, friends, your position in life, kind of like, have like a nice moment of just like gratitude and also just like, family connection because, a lot of time my family is kind of like far away from me. So this is kind of a fun time for us to all come together in some aspect to, connect with each other and to, have fun and be a family. So I just feel like as we become more educated with like, the world in itself and people's experiences in life, Thanksgiving does not have a very good connotation for a huge group of people in this country, that being Native Americans, and I really want to honor that and to like make sure that this isn't a way to celebrate a really harmful experience for so many people in this country. Some people might call it being like too snowflakey or whatever. I just try to see it as being considerate to my fellow humans on this planet. But from that incredibly long speech, I do apologize for that. As usual for these videos, I'm going to be showing the ups and the downs, successes and the failures of me making this recipe. And I'll see at the end of the video, number one, does it look really good? Number two, does it taste good, which is honestly the most important part? Number three, did I do a good job? And number four, of course, do I think the recipe is good enough, for you guys to use? But that being said, let us begin. Okay, so first things first is we have our stale pieces of bread. Now I say stale because I got this fresh yesterday, a big old loaf of white bread. And then I realized that it has to be stale and I don't want to put it in the oven to, go through that process. So I let it go out, overnight, and a lot of the pieces are quite stale, but there are also pieces, the bottom that are very soft still. So I'm gonna hope that's okay. The recipe says that, having that kind of like variance would be okay, so I'm gonna trust them on that. But I just want to show you what's happening, give you a little update just in case that does play a part and if this is a good recipe or disaster. I'm going to grab the pan and let's start making this stuffing. Okay, so I'm going to be using the actual pan instead of like, putting a bowl because, less things to clean off later. I have to say this is a very old pan. I do know that. It probably needs to be replaced, but I am, too lazy to do right now. And every time I do that, it just gets older and older. There are rust spots, but it's not actually like rust. If you touch it, you don't see rust. It's just, staining and whatnot. But with that being said, I'm going to pour some olive oil, that's the word. Also, it is quite late in the day just because I'm filming this on a weekday instead of the weekend, and I had, school and work and whatnot before this. So if the lighting does get weird or wonky, I do apologize. But that being said, we have the oil all mixed around the pan. So now we're going to place all the bread into the pan. Also, this is a great time to figure out if this is, big enough. I think it will be. Yeah, this is gonna be kind of overflowing. Okay, well, I'm just gonna say it's okay, and if it's not, this is the fun of it, the video of seeing, if my laziness completely scuttles my progress and when it comes to making good food. Okay, so we're over to the stove. My mom is making something over here, so we just wanna like, keep it there. But we have our, Dutch skillet oven thing going on, and with that being said, I'm going to grab the half cup of butter, which is, we are not skimping on this. I am also getting super nervous about how much the pan might take, so we might have to like make 2 dishes of stuffing at this point, but we're gonna try to do one and then go from there. But with that being said, I'm just going to put that down, and then we're gonna let this melt down all the way and then start cooking all the vegetables. So I'll get back to you guys when this is all over. Oh, please do not start burning butter. Okay, so the butter is almost completely melted. So we're going to toss in the garlic, the onions, oh my gosh, and finally the celery. So I'm gonna let this all, cook and soften and do its work. More or less mix it around and keep everything from burning. And then when it's all softened, ready to go, I will get back to you and show you guys what it's looked like. So far, honestly, I do believe that this is gonna be a very, very easy dish. It's, of course, like usual for a lot of these videos, it's more just, how well do I do with the recipe? Does the recipe taste good? And that's more or less it. Also, almost forgot, very important, seasoning, salt and pepper. So, give me a second, this is gonna take a while, but more or less, that's what I've decided about this dish. And of course, it could be changing when, I inevitably freak out in some way, but so far, that's what my observations are. Also, I did put the breadcrumbs, not breadcrumbs, are they breadcrumbs or they're not? Like bread pieces, diced, whatever you want to call it. I put them in a huge bowl, and so we'll mix everything together, and then we'll just apportion it out that way instead of try to mush it all into an overflowing pan, because honestly, that's too much work, and I kind of want this to succeed because I really, really like stuffing. With that being said, I'll let this all cook down, and I'll get back to you when it's done. Okay, so I think we are ready to start pouring in the herbs. So we have, the rosemary, the parsley, and then the sage. So we're just gonna toss that all in there. And then we're gonna cook this for 1 more minute before we start pouring in the stock. It smells amazing in this house, honestly, very, very festive. So I'm using chicken, stock, aka chicken bouillon with 2.5 cups of water, and the bouillon itself hasn't completely dissolved yet. So I'm a little nervous that that's going to affect this in some way, but I'm honestly kind of impatient too. I am going to just pour this in and then just hope everything's okay. So with that being said, we want wait, this is 3 cups. How did this become 3 cups? I swear I poured up to 2. Okay, well, that's great. More or less, that being said, I'm just gonna mix this around a little bit more, and then we will start, combining this into making the actual stuffing. Okay, let's hope this works. The mixture is in the bread, so we're just going to slowly combine this. And then I've already mixed in the 1/2 cup of stock with the 2 eggs. I did take out some of the stock just because, I don't want to over wet this or whatever you want to call it, because I don't want anything watery. I've ever experienced that before with ratatouille. I don't want to experience this again with this. So with that being said, it looks like everything looks pretty great. The bread really soaked up the stock in this really, really well, so I'm very, very happy about that. And so we're just going to pour in the rest with the eggs, like so. Just fold that in really nicely. And then I have 2 dishes over here, so hopefully that will be enough for this. I just want to get all of that egg mixture in real quick. Okay, so first things first, the one that already has oil in it. Actually, I think it's gonna fit all the way. I don't think I need the other one, which is pretty great. I didn't oil it yet, so that's pretty great on my part. Yeah, I think it's gonna fit. It might be a little bit, just a little bit overstuffed, but that's okay. Also, I'm seeing bouillon pieces. That's disturbing. Dang it. Do I have to scrounge around and find the other 3 pieces of bouillon? No, I'm just gonna say the other ones. I'm just gonna hope that that thing just cooks down itself. Yep, that sounds like a really bad idea, but I'm just gonna say screw it. From there, we have our beautiful stuffing right so I'm gonna toss this into the oven, and then after it cooks, we'll take it out and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so we have our stuffing. I'm a little worried because I saw a lot of liquid in some of it, so I'm worried that it. No, actually, no, that is. Never mind. False freak out. We're okay. It smells really, really good. The herbs are incredible. Everything looks perfectly cooked. So I'm just going to grab some like so, let it cool off, and then I'm gonna see how it tastes. Actually, I have some mashed potatoes and green bean casserole and also chicken, like, you know, I can't make a turkey again. I made it one time and that took so much work. I can't do that ever again. But I have you know, more or less the trappings of a Thanksgiving meal for next week's video. But more or less, I want to see how it all tastes together, get my opinion on not only what, you know, this tastes like by itself, but also how the stuffing tastes, you know, with other, you know, Thanksgiving items. Cause I feel like that's the really big thing, you know, the stuffing has to be both good by itself, but also good with others. Okay, so we have our big plate of food. I'm gonna go through it because that's not really important right now. The real important part is if the actual stuffing tastes good. So with that being said, I'm just gonna get a little bit of everything. It's very hot. I hope it doesn't burn my mouth. I'm gonna be really, really mad if it burns my mouth. Okay, so I have had my meal and let's talk about the stuffing. So, number one, I honestly am very, very proud of myself. I feel like as somebody who has never made something before, it really did taste really, really good. It definitely had, you know, the classic, delicious Thanksgiving stuffing flavors, which were really, really great. It was incredibly herbaceous, and it had that great kind of like savory little sweetness from like, you know, the onions and like all the herbs that we used. So honestly, it tasted really, really good. Could use a little more salt, but then again, I really, really like salt, so maybe like I use enough salt and I'm just going crazy because I really, really over salt stuff. My only little issues I do have is that it wasn't like soggy, you know, but I definitely do see why people want to, you know, fully have stale bread because it was very, very close to being too soggy. So if you make this, which I would just actually do because it is a really good recipe, I do enjoy it, I would have all that bread completely stale, you know, no pieces that are soft. We want everything stale. After that, you know, the actual texture of it was really, really good. The only other issues I did have is I did not cook the celery and onions enough. The celery was a little bit, not a little bit, it was quite raw still. And that wasn't the best, you know. I'm personally not a big fan of raw celery, so I would say, you know, really let the onions and celery completely sweat down and cook until they're actually translucent. After that, everything else was really, really good. It went perfectly with everything else, and it's going to be a great addition to my video next week. But from there, I really did like it, and I think except those, you know, little things that could easily be fixed. After that, it tasted really, really good. It is an incredible recipe. I totally recommend it. And when it comes to my rating, 1 out of 10, 1 being I came and finished, I think it's absolutely terrible, 10 being it blew me away, I want to make it again and again and again, I would give this a solid 9.5. Except for those very, very simple and very, very easily fixed issues that I did have, which were again completely on me, this was an incredible dish. The problem is those two little things did kind of like affect how I like the dish, but overall it was really, really good. And I have to say, you know, if you just like tweak those things, this will be a great, you know, addition to your Thanksgiving meal. I have to say, as someone who has made a Thanksgiving turkey and who has like gone through the process of making like Thanksgiving meals, Making a Thanksgiving meal is super hard. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time. Most people do lots of advance and then throw things in the oven at the last minute, which I believe is the best way because you don't want to be overworked during Thanksgiving. You still want to socialize, you still want to connect with your friends and family. So, totally doing things in advance is the best thing to do in my opinion. And I fully believe that this stuffing recipe is a great addition to your Thanksgiving meal. It is simple, it is delicious, and it's super easy to, make ahead of time and then toss in the oven to fully cook at the last minute. It does blow any box stuffing out of the water, so don't touch that weird, creepily processed meal. Make it homemade. Use this recipe, follow the recipe, use my suggestions, and you will make an incredible Thanksgiving stuffing for your meal, if that be for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or for any fall holiday that needs a nice herby stuffing carb mix. But that is all for today. So of course, if you like this video, click like. If you want to see more from Watch, just subscribe. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I will see you next time. And as usual, goodbye.